Here it is, how to make double wick scented soy container candles. Hi, Deborah Hardy. I want to show you how to make a double wicked scented soy candle. I decided to use 2 wicks in this particular container to get a large melt pool to enhance the quality of the fragrance. For this demonstration, I am using a 1-pound bag of soy 125, a soy wax for containers I purchased from one of my favorite suppliers of soy wax. I have a link posted on my website that goes directly to them for your convenience. Here is a picture of the candle container. The fragrance I selected tangerine and a yellow colored chip specifically for 1 pound of candle wax. This is just a picture of the candle wicks that I intend to use. In another demonstration, I will show you how you can purchase the tabs and wicks separately and put the 2 together. But for now, we are going to use candle wick tabs. I use dowels that are long enough to reach across the top of larger containers when centering or positioning my wick tabs. To press the wick tab into place, I will use a hollow pin cartridge after pulling it apart and removing both ends and the ink cartridge. Because I buy my candle containers in large quantities to have on hand, I normally put my safety labels on the containers when I first open up the box before I store it away. I have learned to open up my boxes to inspect the containers for cracks or flaws. I double check myself that way. If a jar has a safety label, it has passed my safety inspection. Remember, you're dealing with a hot liquid, and always think of safety first. Plug your glue gun in to warm up. Here I'm testing it to see if it's ready. I use low temp glue sticks since they melt at a cooler temperature and are safer. Stick the candle wick into the pin core as shown, feeding the wick out the opposite end of the hollow plastic tube. Squeeze a small amount of glue from the glue gun onto the wick tab. Move quickly now before it cools. Press the wick tab firmly into the desired position in the container. Hold it briefly until the glue sets up. I pull up on the wicks to make sure the wick tabs are sticking to the bottom of the container. Tie the end of the wick in a very loose knot. The dowel will be slipped into the half knots in the next slide. To keep the candle wicks and the dowel properly centered when I'm pouring wax, I use a small amount of glue on the dowel. Then I press it into place on the container to keep it where I want it. This allows me to tighten up the candle wick half knots so they are held straight while the wax cools. Here I'm using 2 candle pour pots to create a double boiler. Add enough water to the bottom pour pot so that the second upper pot will set level in it once it's filled with wax. Place your candle pour pots on the stove, making sure that they set level. Turn the heat on to start warming up the water, and be sure to add your thermometer. Here I'm adding 1 pound of soy container wax to the upper pot. Remember, because there is a risk of fire, you never leave any melting wax unattended for any reason at all. If you must leave your wax for any reason, always make sure you shut the heat off, irregardless of whether you have to answer the door or the phone, and make sure you always heat your wax to the manufacturer's recommended temperatures. Make sure the candle wax has reached the manufacturer's recommended temperatures of approximately 185 degrees before you remove it from the stove. This is really important if you're going to add color. Here I'm adding the yellow dye chip that will color the 1 pound of soy wax. When I add this dye chip, I'm going to stir it in thoroughly and return it to the stove if I need to after checking the temperature. It needs to be at the recommended temperature when you add color, so don't let it go lower than that. Make sure your color chip is thoroughly stirred in and blended well. This is a very important step, otherwise you might have spots or problems later. Remove the wax from the stove and stir periodically until it cools down to 125 degrees. Adding fragrance when the wax is too hot can cause it to evaporate, destroying quality scent throw. Measure out your fragrance or essential oils. The standard for soy wax is that it will hold 1 ounce of fragrance per pound of soy wax. For your information, 1 fluid ounce converts to 6 teaspoons or 2 tablespoons. I checked my temperature. My wax is 125 degrees, so I'm going to add my bottle of fragrance. This particular fragrance is good to scent 1 full pound of wax, so I just pouring the whole thing in. Make sure you stir your fragrance in thoroughly. You do not want to see any leftover residue drops. Make sure it's completely blended. Here's the pot I prepared to pour the candle wax into. Here I've poured my wax. Be sure to let your candle wax cure for a minimum of 24 hours before you light it. It's important because this allows the molecular structure of the wax to bind with the fragrance. As you can see, the candle is starting to cure and cool down. Always let your candle sit for a minimum of 24 hours before you trim the wick to 1/4 inch and light them. So that wasn't too hard, was it? And it does make a wonderful smelling candle to burn in your house. Hope you've enjoyed. Please check out my website. And thanks for watching. Have a great day.